shake the matrix, expand our minds, and of course, do what I always do, make us all think. How are you guys doing this beautiful grand morning? Glad you guys are here. Good to have you. And all of the above. Let me just send out here. All right. How are you guys doing? Good to be here. Glad to be awake. Another day breathing. Another day. Sometimes, though, I tell you, can you hear that? It doesn't quite sound like I'm breathing sometimes, but it's just a little choking that seems to go on in there. But we'll get that figured out. You know, life has been pretty adventurous, I tell you. I've had several days of just enjoying time. And then last night, I went out to a desert party. It was pretty amazing. They had a tiki bar that they built out of just scrap wood. And then they built a dance floor, and everything they built there didn't cost them anything. They did it out of scraps. You know, I think sometimes we got to pay attention because there's a lot we can do with just the things that we thought were garbage. Let me tell you that much. But anyways, it was a great time. They had karaoke there and everything. So we sang, we had laughs, we danced, and it was a good time in the desert. So it was nice after spending quite a few days of just being, resting, spending time alone. How's it going? Good to see you, Ascension. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to talk about something a little bit further, a little bit deeper than I guess maybe some things we've talked about. And we're going to talk about some things that a lot of us are afraid to talk about. But before we begin, what I want to invite you. You guys ready? Well, it depends what we do with that stuff. You know? At the end of the day, we're creators, right? And there's these rules that humanity is placed on you. And I always ask the question, well, if you're a creator, what rules did you put on yourself? What did you? So we live our lives by feeding what other people want us to do, right? And worried about what others think. To me, when I see a question like that, I go, someone's looking to hear from someone else for their journey. And then that's when I go, man, I want you to go take time and meditate and ask yourself those questions because you are the one that holds the answers to the questions for thyself. We all do. We hold the entire universe right within ourselves. And we must go in to have the external be what is out. So before we begin, let's take a deep breath. It's just not to change anything, not to fix it, just have us arrive. And here we are. And today I want to talk about something that many of us actually avoid. And not because it is unimportant. It's important. But because it is actually powerful. And I want to talk about the mystics. I want to talk about the human conduct. So maybe this will help answer your question too. And I want to talk about our feelings. Yeah. Something we were never truly taught how to understand. See, most of us were taught rules, regulations. We were taught how to behave, We were taught what was acceptable and what was not. And we were never taught what to do with what we feel. Now were we? And what happened is all of a sudden, because our feelings got dampened down, feelings started to turn into action words to the point we don't even know what feelings were. We were taught how to sit with our feelings. We weren't taught to sit with we were taught to ignore our feelings. Never taught to look at them. We became afraid of them, as a matter of fact, because feelings became actions. We learned to suppress them. We learned to judge them. and we learn to blame them for actions. And somewhere along the way, we forgot that feelings are not actions at all. And this teaching is not about becoming better at all. It's about us remembering. It's about us remembering what has always been within us. It's been dampered down over time. You see, a mystic is not someone who escapes reality. A mystic is someone who sees reality more clearly. See, a mystic is someone who feels deeply that everything that happens is in some way harmonious. And it's an integrated part of the universe. Not because everything is pleasant. Oh, it's not. That's how we become the eyes of the storm. Not because everything is easy. Oh, it's not easy. But because everything belongs. There's a place that everything fits. And in ancient traditions, especially the Gnostic tradition, the word gnosis means direct knowing. Not belief, not faith, not religion. Knowing through experience, understanding. You see, the mystic does not ask, what should I believe, man? What do I believe? What do I do? What do you think? The mystic asks, what is being revealed within me right now? From this perspective, the divine is not something separate. It's never been separate from us. See, the divine is the existence of us. It is not far away. It is not reserved for the holy or the perfect, or for you to be aligned or grounded to have it activated. You're it, baby. It's been activated in you since the breath of existence. Looking for Yahweh, looking for God. We can't even say the name. It's breath, existence, inhale, exhale. The divine is expressed through you and me. And if the divine is expressed through us, then what arises within us? It includes our feelings. So our feelings aren't something to damper down or ignore. It's not, it included, our feelings must be allowed to exist because we exist. Therefore, our feelings exist. See, a mystic does not deny pain. A mystic listens to it and goes, okay, it's telling me I'm alive. This is functioning. Maybe. Partially sometimes. Here's one of the most important things many of us actually were never, ever taught. And this is so sad. And here it is. You guys are ready? You got to hang on to this one because this is some truth. There are no wrong feelings. Not one. Okay? But feelings are not actions. Love is not wrong. Hate is not wrong. Anger is not wrong. Sadness is not wrong. Fear is not wrong. Numbness is not wrong. And joy is not wrong. But there are wrong actions. And that's how we got to the place we're at. Damper down the emotions, out come the actions. Why? The emotions are not heard. The reason our actions happens is because we feel unheard. Feelings and actions are not the same. Science helps us understand this. So if you ever have me at you and you're trying to say, I feel like running away. These people all reject me. The feeling is, I feel rejected. And as a result, my action is I want to run away. Feelings arise automatically, and they come from the limbic system. You cannot hamper them down. the emotional instinctual part of the brain. And they are fast, they are ancient, and they evolved to give information. And you dampering them down makes you sick. You dampering them down gets us into addiction. Us dampering them down goes and has us doing things and reacting. Actions, however, require choice. But what happened is over time, we've dampened the emotions down and we just went right into actions. Never gave us a stop moment to give us a pause to allow us to go, okay, wait. They evolved from the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reflection, impulse, control, and ethical decision making. But we've damaged it, bruised the heck out of it. It's like punching yourself in the head every time you put down your feelings. You're saying, no alarm can warn me. And then we wonder why we get into situations where something really bad happens and everyone says, well, didn't you have a feeling? No. They didn't have a feeling. No, my instincts were beaten down. I was taught not to have them. I was taught to ignore them. I bet you how many people sit behind jail who have done things impulsively, sit there and go, why didn't I just look at how I felt? Because you got robbed of it. We set the system up to rob us of it. And when we confuse feelings with actions, we become dangerous. And that's what this world wants. It wants chaos, divide. Not because feelings are dangerous, but because awareness is missing. We shut the alarm off. If hatred, that does not mean I must, see, if I feel hatred, if I hate something, it doesn't mean that I must act in violence. I remember being told that word feeling hate's the worst feeling you could ever have or even think of. What? Oh, that's a dangerous feeling? Oh. Why? What if that hatred for that thing or that action is what keeps you from you doing that action? I hate murder. What's so bad about that? See, the feeling is not the instruction, people. Trying to control someone's feelings or manipulate how someone feels is wrong. Not because feelings are bad, but because feelings are sacred information. They're alarms. And that is why when I hear people give an action word for their feeling, I encourage them to go deeper. Because that feeling, if they can go deeper, will allow them to understand why they want to do the action that they're thinking. Why were we taught to fear feelings? We are afraid of our feelings because we were never taught what to do with them. Instead, we were taught that feelings are actions. We were shamed for how we felt. We were told we were wrong for our emotions. We were told to get over it. So we learned to push and push and push feelings down. But what we suppress does not disappear. It waits. And eventually, suppressed feelings come out as impulsive behaviors. Resentment, violence, addiction, self-harm. Now let us look at nature. Nature is one of our greatest teachers. Think about the season. Summer comes, warmth, joy, expansion. Fall comes, grief, release, decay. Winter comes, stillness, darkness, numbness. Spring comes, renewal, curiosity, rebirth. We do not shame winter for being cold. We do not punish fall for letting things die. The mystics understand that emotions are seasonal, and they come, they go, and each has wisdom, and each carries a story. So now I want to teach you, how do you work with your feelings then? What do you do? How do we think they're going to get out of control? I was taught they're out of control. What do you mean? Yeah. So step one is this. Hello and famous. Allow the feelings to exist. Give yourself permission. Tell yourself, man, I was lied to. I feel so controlled being lied to. Allow those feelings to exist. Say to yourself, I am not wrong for what I feel. And step two, pause. Sorry you've been sick, man. Just pause. Do not act immediately. This pause is sacred. I call them the stop moments, and I taught my kids that. Stop. Breathe moment. How are you feeling right now? And we had all these feelings on words on the fridge so they could get to them. Why do you feel that way? You let them talk about it. What's your boundary want to be if that happens again? What's the result of feeling that feeling? What's the result? I don't want to hang out with them right now. All right. I'd say to my other son, if there were two of them were fighting, you see how your brother feels? Did you hear that? Can you acknowledge that he feels rejected right now, or whatever that feeling is? Can you see that? Do you want to ask him why he feels that way? Why do you feel that way? Because you just ripped the toy out of my hand, man. You want to tell him what you want to do as a result? I don't want to hang out with you. Now the person with that, holding that feeling, the person that now got to hear what that feeling was, and even got to hear what that feeling makes them want to go do as a result, now they get to know the action is a result of the feeling, but they don't have to act in it. They get to speak of it now. And the other one gets to choose, okay, wow, that's what my action just caused. Now I got to choose to continue or not. If I continue, he's going to not be hanging out with me. If I stop, he wants to hang out with me still. Critical thinking is what we do there. Instead of telling them their feelings wrong, no, man, the feeling's never wrong. It's the action we do because of the feeling. Learning to improve on that in therapy, actually, good. So what do? We pause. We do not act immediately. And this pause is sacred. It's because that's where the freedom is. And then we ask it. The third one is this. Where did it come from? Because it didn't come from what just happened. That feeling originated from somewhere else. But it was brought into this one because it triggered the same emotion. Then ask what triggered this? When have I felt this before? Find that story. And ask yourself, what do I believe about myself because of this story? What do I believe about myself because of this feeling? Now, often the belief is something like, I am enough, or I am not enough. I am unsafe. I am unloved. Well, now gaze deeper. And what's the opposite? Because if the opposite is true, what would that truth be? I'll sit with that. Do not rush. Take your time. Change the thought process, right? And speak the new truth gently. Breathe it into the body. Let the nervous system learn and remember the truth. And then ask, how do I feel now? This is self-gnosis. This is inner awakening. You see in my books, the Awaken Trilogy, awakening is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what was always within. And the journey includes shadow, includes discomfort. It includes facing parts of ourselves we were taught to hide and hold behind. And this is a path of the modern mystics, not escape integration. What the mystics truly feels is the divinity of what always is. And your feelings are not the enemy. They are messengers. The red flags warning you. They do not determine your actions. Awareness does. Feelings allows you to have the time to observe. Because whatever exists is a manifestation of the divine. So don't be afraid of yourself. Look deeply and accept what you truly felt. And you were never broken. You were only unheard. So take a breath. And let that be enough. Because it is. It's more than enough. Well, make sure you do one thing toward your dreams every single day. It brings you one step closer. And make sure you recognize that you're valuable and you matter and you're all unique puzzle pieces, a part of the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. Hang in there. Peace and love. We'll see you guys next time. That is true, Mom. Wasn't trying to say that the feelings is wrong. Meant to say changing the thought process. Easier said than done. It's all a choice. And us telling ourselves that whether it's easier said or done, that's again us programming in that to us. Only got to remember these words or spells. When we speak, when we place, they stick. And we got to realize that. Got to recognize that. Well, guys, make sure you do one thing toward your dreams every single day. Make sure you recognize you're valuable and matter. You're all unique puzzle pieces, a part of those ultimate puzzles of the cosmos. Make sure you know that you're loved beyond and you have a wonderful day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love. Catch you later.